Good morning, YouTube world. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than we typically do in our room. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on a strategy that I've been using, and we're going to be building a watch list at the same time. I've built a couple new scanners that are going to help me identify some trends early on and potentially catch these swing trades or these rips before they occur. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Let me just unmute myself in our chat room. Right now, if you hear me talking to somebody, we have our live Discord open right now. So everybody's in Discord, hanging out, asking questions as we build our list and go over strategies and different trade ideas. So if you guys are interested in that, you can hop over to bullishbears.com and join our community. All right, what's up, gang? Just let them know that I'm going live. All right, so a few things that we've been watching this last couple of days has been QUBT, MRAM, IO and Q, LCID, RMO, and GGPI. GGPI is, it's still a little bit overextended, but I'm looking for not only stocks that are trending, because I'm not only a trend trader, I'm also an anti-trend trader. So I'll catch bounces based on different price levels with confirmation of trend lines, CCI, and a few other supply and demand strategies that you guys can learn by joining our next level library or being a yearly member, so you can have access to our next level library. All right, so these are just a part of my watch list. The rest of it is going to live over here. This is the remainder of my watch list. This is kind of like a long-term deal. Yesterday, I noticed that FSR was trading with Lucid. So you can see here on FSR, we pretty much mirrored the entire morning. We had a dip, a couple flags on the 15. We had a dip, a couple flags on the 15, and then just a continuation. Around 2:30, we had kind of a wedge form, which at 12 o'clock we did that, and then yeah, so it kind of was a sympathy play and would have been really nice for those that want something a little bit slower that isn't going to bite your face off. So just like AMC and GME, some stocks in certain sectors will have stocks that have sympathy and trade alongside of them. And FSR yesterday was one of those. All right, so now that we've gone over that, let's go ahead and still keeping an watchful eye on WIMI here. It still hasn't broken down off of the this daily bull flag right here, and we just wicked off of the 15 EMA on the daily chart, and now I believe we're where are we? 1520 again, and then we pulled back after hours. So that's still not a dead play yet. So this is one that I've been watching for a move this week. So we definitely need to break over that 1230 area if we want to get any kind of continuation. So everything that I have up here right now, I switched from a 1 minute to a 2 minute chart just because I wanted a little bit more confirmation on the 15 break and holds rather than cycling over to them, because they used to live on a 1 minute chart. Can everyone in chat hear me okay, or do I sound like a robot? Nice. Thanks, bud. All right, so that was my little YouTube spiel. Now let's get down to business. All right, different scanners that I use. I've got a gap up scanner. You can see PROG is up 19%, is the leading volume of the day so far. Let's check our woodies. Got another scanner here on the morning watch list. BTB and SPI are also over 1 million. And that's a little bit higher than usual for both of those. I'm watching for SPI for continuation as well. Something that's been really nice trader all week has been MCRB. It's a cheaper stock, but it's not really a low float, I don't think. I think it's got a higher float. But I was watching it on a daily. If we check it out on a 4-hour, 30-minute looks really nice too. Right now we're kind of in a pullback spot for it, but we had a nice big drop from 20 bucks a week or two ago, and a month or two ago, we flushed down, and I've been waiting for it to reclaim some of that, targeting about $16. So my main targets on this is going to be pretty much the whole dollars based on a 1-hour time frame on these drops. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I go over my bounce strategies and look for these reversal plays, and we'll play them on the way back up as well. So it's not always a bad thing to be counter trend, because once you identify a potential reversal, then we can play those all the way up. So we had good earnings, and you can see we hit target number 1. We did a nice little pullback on a 4-hour chart, and with CCI, you can see that we've confirmed that 15 EMA, it likes it. So we, based on that, confirmed with the CCI, and then we've been trending alongside of it. And if you watch some of our streams, this is kind of the same strategy that I use on a 2-minute chart or a 5-minute chart. You'll have a spike up, and then you have a big pullback, holds that big mother candle, builds on top of the 15 EMA with everything kind of confirming that we're still in bullish territory. You can see here on the 20, we're above the 0 line, we're below the 100. So I would expect that this, maybe today, we might pop up and then get a little bit more of a pullback. So this might be a sideways day for it, but I'm still keeping an eye for a retest and potential continuation up to the 12s. So we'll see if we can capitalize on that. You can see here on the 30-minute chart, this is a pretty nice little pop up, comes it up, test the 15, pops up, test the 15, and now we're kind of in this little slow moving channel. And a lot of times when they slow move like that through a channel, they'll hit selling pressure, and then they'll dip from there. So what we can do is hop over to a 5-minute chart and see what kind of levels on our CCI we can pick out. We've got a up area here, so we're just going to draw our trend line through probably that area there. So you can see I didn't match the tops, all of them. I wanted to catch as many tops that made sense. So you've got a break, a test above. A lot of times the CCI will test above and then reject, test above, reject. And then this one rejected. So it looks like with this one confirming that this level, these are just tests. We have a potential, if you see here, even, you have a it comes back in and it kind of retests that zone as a potential continuation to the upside. So you could look at there being a potential bounce here off the 100 level, or when the market opens, we might even see a dip and a retest of this level here. And we'll see if that matches on a 2-minute chart, if the 15 EMA, if we can get this thing to ramp up a little bit more. So that's been on my watch for the last week or so, maybe last 2 weeks, when I saw it on one of my daily scanners. LCID's dipping. Everything right now looks like it's dipping. Let's hop back over to our scanners and see what we can see. Okay, failed wedge retest. Let's keep an eye on BTB this morning. I kind of liked the 2-minute chart, but it failed to follow through the break of VWAP. I was looking at this guy here, and you can see we came down, retested some of the. Oh, let's use the Hakanashi. So sometimes when it's kind of scattered like that, it's easier to use the Hakanashi to bridge the gaps and see things a little clearer. But right here, I was looking at this wedge. I was looking at a wedge here. I took an entry right here on this dip and hold of the 15 EMA, and I was looking for a quick pop. Since we got one rejection here, I was going to look for a pop up to retest the $1.93, but we didn't get the follow through. Now it's just sitting on previous day VWAP, but you can see here how we're a little bit cleaner, and we had kind of a pullback right here to the 15. And then we popped, but I had to take my daughter to school, so I had to get out of the trade and go from there. SPI is one that I've been watching since Sunday. And you can see I've got my price levels marked out from that week, from last weekend. SPI, yeah. And it popped up yesterday, hit my first target, and then it just ripped through the rest of them. And of course, I wasn't watching it when it popped. I was just going through my watch list. I have a journal of trade ideas in a private Discord channel. So I've just been studying that new scanner I've been developing and watching for these pops to happen. And you can see here that we were kind of building and building and building. And on the daily chart, it looked really, really nice. Same thing, we popped up above the 15 EMA on the daily, and we test, and then ripped. I think it was cleaner on a 4-hour chart, maybe. Yeah, so the 4-hour chart was a little bit cleaner. You kind of had a dip and then a hold of those levels, and then a dip, and then confirmation, and everything's looking good. Yeah, this is what drew my attention to it, was that hammer over the weekend. This is Friday. So Friday's hammer is, yeah, it would have been nice. So now that we're over those initial levels, let's take a look and see if we can identify any others. You can see that I've got a bunch of red lines. Those are really, really old. I've traded this when it, went to $50 and was grabbing those retracements. Gonna buy them dips. Oh man, Loose is right in my price range. Totally buy high, man. Mm. I mean, I could definitely find some spots to scalp, but to hold through unless I get like a solid pattern, I just can't. Just can't. I refuse. What's funny is, let's look at that real quick. What's funny is these levels were, I didn't, I marked this level out on like a 5-minute chart back when we were looking at it when it was 20 something. I'll show you how crazy this is. That's a lot of lines. All right, so where are you? I swear I just saw you on a 15. There it is. So back when we were trading it, when we were working up the price ladder, I drew this out from this day right here. And then I drew this that wedge pattern, and then we have some intraday stuff down here, and that's this line right here. Which one is it? Yeah, look how like that followed that line almost exactly the entire time. If I would have noticed that, I was oblivious because I stopped watching it after it got over $40. Like after it broke 42, I was like, all right, well, that was fun. Hit my hit my danger targets up here at 39.95, and then I just stopped watching it. But then it came down and just tapped that sucker, and then it came back down, tapped it again, and then that's a trend line that we drew. Pretty sure that we drew it in pre-market, or I tried finding the chart in my saved stuff, but I didn't see it. But yeah, that was from like a couple Wednesdays ago, a couple weeks ago. So that's why I always extend my lines to the right. And then look at this one. It trapped it. This was a intraday one, and it got trapped right there. That is called a megaphone, an accidental megaphone. I didn't even notice it. So we'll see if the others, if it breaks at 65, we'll see if it goes to this next one, and then the next one, and then see if it goes to the next one. See how well they work out. All right. SPI. Let's find some targets on SPI. SPI is kind of a tricky, it's like a trappy one, but We'll do a 1 hour, 180 day. And let's see how good my old lines are. We are at $6 to $8. All right, so there is the last structure that broke $8. So we're going to focus on this one here. I can't look back on a 5. Well, I could if I adjusted it, but I don't feel like it. So I'm sure there's some structure in here that identifies 850s other than just being a half and a whole dollar that this reacted from, but we could probably remove those and just redraw it from this guy here, 815. And you guys know how I feel about first retests, that first retest candle of a big move down. And then you've got open close candle there, 865. And then this is like 870. That should be red. And we can remove this last one. Remove that drawing, and we can turn that one red. So we know that if we're up here, we really need to be careful of that area because this is the true first retest of this previous high. And we're looking at this level here to this red level here. And then that's a huge candle. We'll mark that one as red as well because that's, again, the first pullback in that whole deal from this last time it's been up this high. Yeah, 180 day. Yeah. So James is the 4 hour. I do the 1 hour because I want a little bit more granularity, and it helps me figure out bull flags. And if you do the price ladder, sometimes it shoots through that level, and then you look for the bull flag back to that level to touch it again, and then bull flag off of that. Especially like it when it matches one of my indicators or just an EMA. Yeah, no problem, Aldous. So let's look what GOEV did. Oops, GOEV. All right, so 2 minute. Let's check out both. I kind of want to show you guys more about this right chart here. It's a trend chart. Helps you identify trends easier using the Hakanashi candles. But yeah, so if you look here on GOEV, that was a nice little bounce scalp here off of a potential demand level and didn't really have much other than the negative 200 to bounce off of there. But if you switch over to a 5 minute chart, we can see that we're still below that that candle or that 15 EMA, and what we still have that doji and kind of a bald headed wick there. But I think I saw in a 5 minute chart that this, or a 15 minute chart, that this was the 15 EMA. Maybe make a liar out of me. So we had a hit here, rounded bottom. I think that was down here. I'm all confused now. I gotta switch back. Might have been a 30-minute chart. This is at 7:58. So a lot of times when I'm catching bounces, you guys, I'm still using the 2-minute. Yeah, I didn't have it. We did hit the, after the buy candle, we did get a CCI bounce on the 15, but. And right here, I think was where I use any time frame. Usually I live on the 2-minute chart, so I'm doing all my triple wicks on the 2-minute chart. But if I don't see something and I'm looking for confirmation on a potential area, I will cycle through. Like sometimes you get something that looks like this right here, and I can't make sense of that in a downtrend to try to find a target. So I'll switch over to a higher time frame, like the 5-minute, to see if I can identify any structures inside of that nonsense. Does that kind of make sense? So like on a 5-minute chart, look how clean this is. On a 2-minute chart, that looked like garbage. Couldn't really pick that level out at all. But you've got a gap here, and then you've got your 4 wicks up into this area. So buying right here into selling pressure is not probably something that I would look at doing, but that was really hard to see on a 2-minute chart. Because it's just that. So there's not really a whole lot of wicks, but you still had a bigger move away from this area, and you could have highlighted the base of this last candle before the big move down, and it kind of does the same thing. All right, so I'm going to add GOEV to my probably my main chart. I need to find a home for this guy though, because I want to keep my eyes on it. Not sure if I'm ready to get rid of OCGN yet. Got to keep an eye on SPI here. We're 15 is kind of coming up to hug the VWAP, so we'll see if we get a VWAP pop, close, and then a retest. Because so far we haven't been able to close above it since the market opened. This was pre-market open. So like 7 o'clock I consider to be pre-market open. So we haven't been able to reclaim it yet. So until it pops above it and gives us a potential retest down here, I don't know if I'm ready to just go ahead and buy that yet, even though we have a potential buy trigger here on CCI, the pop above the 15 EMA. And then we kind of have a divergence sitting in here. You can see here that we're kind of going sideways in a wedge, and you could potentially look for the retest of that wedge on CCI, which is going to be right here, this first target above VWAP 716. You can see the gap right here. So we'll see if we get that 716 pop, wick, and then a retest of this lower here at 706, maybe even a little bit lower. But you can see that both of these were confirming divergence, and retested the 0 line on the 9 EMA on a 2-minute chart, and we got that little pop. So a lot of those things are confirming on different time frames and different scenarios. We've got the retest of the 100 line in kind of like what looks like a wedge, and then we have the test of the 0 line here on the turbo CCI, which is the yellow line. Plus the EMAs look like they're kind of starting to form a wedge on their own. Oops. And you can see it a little bit clearer when you're looking at the Hakanashi candles. It gets rid of this noise, like that weird noise, and it kind of recalculates everything to something that's a little bit more visually pleasing. And then you've got a selling wick right here that tells you that you're entering that selling pressure, but we already knew that because we've got these wicks right here. I was expecting more of a rejection there, but we'll see if we get it here or if it's just gonna rip without us. But that candle's still closed inside of that that gap there. So come on back. That was really nice of it to, that's all right. Fine, don't come back for me. All right, so just like everything else, where is the potential and where are you going to have that selling pressure? So obvious selling pressure right up into these candles. This is that first pullback, to go down. So we'll see if it flags here, right here, and then look for a flag, retest, and potential entry. But since it's already broken that wedge, this would have been the preferred entry. Then looking for that retest would have been another preferred entry. But now we need to wait. Because I need to wait. You could look at this 728 as a potential flag. Because on the long-term scale, that was a previous target. So we'll see if we get a hammer off of that and a potential flag. Otherwise, and we're kind of testing that positive 100 still. So we'll see how that 2-minute candle closes. Find my time clock. We've got another minute left. Let's look at our CCI one more time. create our wedges. You can see that we've got test, 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 and we held that the entire time. So we can extend that to the right. That looks promising. And then same deal here. Look for our test, test, test. And that is going to be what we look for retest. So we extend that to the right. So if we come down, we could expect that this is going to dip. And when it dips and retests this wedge here, we'll look for a continuation to the upside. So even though we've been through price, you want to make sure that you have as many peaks touching as possible, and just understanding that just because this dipped a little bit further, you want to look through that, and you're using as many peaks as you can with your trend lines on CCI. So even though this is a test, and then we got a confirmation and then a rip, and now we're retesting that. We retested that base right there. Kind of wish I would have seen that, but hindsight's 20/20, right? Still can't buy that because I don't have anything to confirm with. That was an ugly close. First pop above VWAP. Look for that retest. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that one alone. I want a cleaner setup. Did what we expected though. Popped up and then retested below, that wick below VWAP, but this thing, SPI moves too quick sometimes, and you can see that in just those candles, how quickly they moved. That was a 35-cent drop, and you can't set a stop loss. But we haven't really retested that, so I'm thinking that maybe in pre-market or in market open, if we continue up, if we dip back down to this level here on a dip, that might be a potential dip buy opportunity. So I'm going to keep that one on watch for market open. Might give me something a little bit more to go on, especially if it pops up a little bit here, holds, and then dips to the 15 on a 2-minute chart with this confirming. I'll buy those dips. So instead of just sitting here staring at this one, let's let it do what it does. Not FOMO, buy into it, and let's see what else is moving today. What else is wiggling? PAVM down 20%. For those in our trade rooms, they know that I like to buy dips as well. So gap ups and gap downs, trade them the same. Two-minute pop, almost hit. This is a nice hold of that level, though. Let's see what the 5-minute says. Yeah, I'm not ready to commit to that one yet either. AVM. I'm gonna add that one to my long term though, just to kind of keep an eye on it. NCLH is another interesting one because we, this is a AGC. You stink. It's another interesting one for me. This one trades well for being such a large cap stock. You can see here that we've been accumulating here, and then we pop up, and then we retest, but then we drop again. I'm kind of looking for this one to build off of this level again and see if this is just a retest, because we all know that stocks don't just go straight up. They have to pop up, come back down, and retest those levels. I'm wondering if this is just like a last retest, one last dip buy on a potential move higher. You can see here on the daily chart, pre-pandemic, we were trading at $56. So now that I understand that we are out of some cruise season, but with the new pills and all the COVID technology out there, the travel industry, I'm still expecting it to start trending up a little bit more and continue. So this is another kind of long-term idea in buying those dips and seeing if we can get nice returns on those dip buys. I can't remember what the Spirit Airlines was. Oh well. All right, so we're still flagging above the above VWAP, so I'm still just gonna sit by and be a bystander. I got rid of it. I don't really use. I have my other platform I use level 2 on. Huh, that's funny. I canceled my I canceled on here. That's funny. I wonder if they forgot or if I have till the end of the month. So for those of you that are on YouTube, wonder what Bookmap is, that some of us use here as well to identify potential levels. You can see here that this is the obvious support. We got signatures of how many orders there are sitting there, and they got rid of it right here. And you'll see that a lot with manipulation, and once price moves away from a level, they'll remove themselves because they don't want to show the obvious levels. So at Bookmap, you can zoom out and see where they're trapping price. So you can see that they're going to try to trap price here at 750. And then there's a couple levels above that, 768, $8, potentially 784. And you can even watch when we dip, you'll see these lines start to get red again because people are looking at those levels for potential support, and they don't want it to fall through those levels. And You could also watch on smaller time frames when you have bids come in to hold this thing up. So you'll see these bubbles. These are volume bubbles of real orders that triggered. And if you're hitting a level where you're looking for support, you'll see huge lines come in. And when you get a huge bubble like that, sometimes you can use Bookmap as your potential entry spot because you want to be joining the big dogs. You want to be buying, riding the coattails of big money. So if you're using it for a Bookmap trade, you could look at that level 730. Oh, they're just leveled in there at 730. So they're trying to hold it down. And that kind of lines up with my 728 level that I've got marked out on the chart. And you can see here that these levels are getting, when price comes towards those levels, it's getting thicker and more red. The more red means that it's more resistance. And you can see here that we've got somebody down here at 710 that just came in, 717 just came in. So we'll see if those levels can hold. And you're just waiting for either a rapid burst of orders or or a huge bubble. And everybody went away. Where'd you go? Come back, buddy. All right. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I have to get going. I have a standing 9:15 meeting for my work. And I have to hop over to that. But if you like what you saw, you want to learn more about the indicators and the strategies that we use to confirm or confirm a trade or stay out of a trade to protect yourselves, buying low and selling high, come and join us. Check out our next level library. Join us in Discord and our trading community. We can bounce ideas off of us and give you our trade plans and how we build our own trade plans so you guys can do it yourselves. So check us out, and good luck to everybody, and see you shortly.